You know, we made him negotiate and try and declare that as a victory and move on.
I want to bring in Congressman Steve Cohen. He is a Democrat from Memphis. Congressman, good morning.
Good morning, Chris.
The approval of Congress right now, I don't know if you heard it, 5%. Military families are going on local TV. They aren't getting death benefits because of this shutdown. John McCain says we ought to be ashamed. Is he right?
Well, he is correct, because I think the government needs to function, and right now it's not. You've got this Tea Party group that really doesn't believe in government and doesn't believe in folks, working together to get compromised. I think if you read Paul Krugman, which I do, you got to have a middle class. The economy improving gets us out of our debt problem. And our debt ratio to GDP is not that great compared to other times. And they're hurting the economy, which is hurting the deficit, which is hurting the middle class. And that's just wrong.
I think both sides agree that this is probably not great for the economy. So the question is, how do you get there? Republicans are now saying very publicly in op-eds on the floor of the House and Senate they want to sit down, talk, negotiate. And if I can, let me play for you what Mark Sanford said on Morning Joe.
I would argue that the Democrats today are overplaying their hands, given the president's unwillingness and Harry Reid's unwillingness to sit down at the table with John Boehner.
Are you, Congressman, Democrats overplaying your hand?
No, I don't think so at all. I think the Republicans overplayed their hand, and I know it sounds like them and us, but the fact is this should be over the budget numbers. And the Ryan budget of $986 is what we have accepted, their numbers. We wanted $1.058 trillion in the continuing resolution. So we accepted their budget numbers, the Ryan numbers, which are anathemas to us. But they want to go further and do something that's never been done in history. They talk about 17 previous shutdowns. Most of those were Democratic Senates and Democratic Houses dealing with Jimmy Carter. They were very short term. They were never over trying to repeal the law of the land as the Affordable Care Act is. So this is special, and I think the Democrats are right not to recognize what is really an improper situation. The whole procedure is wrong, and to negotiate with them when they really shouldn't even be at the table. We gave them their budget numbers. They should accept them, accept yes for an answer.
I don't know if you've seen this because it really just came out this morning, but I'm going to play a little clip. This is a new video, Congressman, that was put out by the RNC this morning.
Most Americans know that increasing debt is the last thing we should be doing.
If we don't raise the debt ceiling, it would be the height of irresponsibility.
Get back to where we're paying down our debt.
This is just kind of a routine part of keeping the government running.
Not increasing the debt limit.
This is something routine.
The negligence of borrow and spend policies.
It's been done more than 40 times.
So obviously it basically points out the debt ceiling has been used by Democrats before, and in fact that as a senator, Barack Obama voted against it. So their point is Democrats are being hypocritical when they say they won't negotiate over it now.
Well, I understand what they're saying, and I wish that Senator Obama would have done different, but he was in the minority, and sometimes we're in the minority, the majority is going to do right for the country. We in the House are in the minority now. We'd like to think that the Republicans who are the majority in the House would do right for the country. They're not. John Boehner's got himself in a position to where a lot of people with 1 or 2 terms in Congress, many of whom, you talk about the House gym, many of those people live in their office and use that House gym to shower. I think that's party messaging, and the Speaker won't cut that down, because a lot of the people responsible for this, if they found out they couldn't shower living on government monies, then they might come to the table and say, hey, this is too much. There's some real problems here, and there's a lot of things under
So you're for shutting down the gym to put a little pressure on?
Oh, I think it makes sense. When the American people are suffering, it should happen, and it would put pressure on those people who, I think it's questionable whether they should be living in their offices or not. The offices are there to conduct the business of the people and not to be a living expense and save yourself $10,000 or $20,000 a year.
Congressman Steve Cohen, good to have you on the program. Thanks very much.
You're welcome, Chris.
We were talking about Obamacare, how this all started, and it's really interesting.